Hello and welcome back to Second Take Movies, the podcast where we give movies and sometimes TV shows, in this case, a second look, a second chance, second take, if you will. I'm your host, Preston Jenkinson, and today is Derrick Stewart. He's back.
I'm back.
For the third time. Every time you show up, we do something different.
That's true. I feel special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you were like the first, after like the three episodes that I did, the first three episodes that I did. And
right.
We did went through Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. And the first one we did was The Tomorrow War, which wasn't really, like, it broke the stereotype of not being an old bad movie. It was kind of a new bad movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we're doing a TV show.
And I feel like after this, because we were just looking through the Lord of the Rings Instagram, we might have to do that, cover that show week to week.
Yeah. Oh, that would be a commitment.
Yeah.
Would there be enough to talk about? I don't. You've sprung this on me. I don't know if I'm ready.
Well, I just thought of it. So
of commitment to a podcast.
It's only in September. It's only at the beginning of a school. Semester.
Yeah. I'll just make sure I got an easy class load. We could do that. Yep. It might be worth it.
But until then, today we're talking about the Book of Boba Fett.
The Book of Boba Fett.
The finale was yesterday.
Mandalorian season 3.
Mandalorian season 2.5, basically.
2.5. Yeah, that's good.
Because with the last half of the season, but
it was all right. It was all right.
Yeah.
How do you want to approach the Book of Boba Fett? Because you normally go through like from beginning to end, but it's a long. 7 episodes.
Just like basically go episode by episode, I guess.
All right.
So the first episode from memory is basically what everybody wanted. It answered the big question: how did he escape the Sarlacc?
Right. How much of a Star Wars nerd are you? Like, did it bother you?
I mean, I've got 3 posters in my living room.
Yeah. So,
but see, to me, Boba Fett was always the most over. Like you mentioned my statue that I have, or my toy that I have right here in my office, but he is one of the coolest looking characters.
Yes.
But he is the most overrated character, in my opinion. I don't care how many comic books or TV or books you do about him. But this version I liked.
Right. I was asking because I was talking with my brother, and we're both not super Star Wars nerds, but he mentioned that he kind of thought it was cheesy to bring him back from the dead. Like, he doesn't like that when shows kill off a character, and then for the sake of the character's popularity here is like, oh no, he didn't die in the 1,000-year stomach digestion of the...
That's basically what this was.
Yeah, it was fan service.
Yeah.
But, it was fan service in The Mandalorian first, right? Because he shows up in there.
Well, yeah, we don't have the show, a great show like The Mandalorian without Boba Fett.
I mean, they could have, though. They could have left him out of it. He didn't play like a pivotal role.
Just like the look and what
I see.
What Mandalorians are if Boba Fett wasn't...
That's true.
In, like, The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi for 10 minutes.
Yeah, you're right. And that's... I mean, The Mandalorian was basically, here's the backstory of Boba Fett, just... not that same Boba Fett, And that was the second time because Lucas brought Jango Fett back in the first series.
And
so you're right.
This is the same actor because basically we find out in
Attack of the Clones, right?
Yeah, in Attack of the Clones that he's a clone of Jango Fett, which has always been like...
I always felt like that gave Boba Fett way more significance than he needed. But, okay.
That was just George. George Lucas is one of those guys that... story will always come before continuity,
and the I feel like the visualness of the story comes before the continuity of the story,
especially in the prequels.
Like, he just likes the way things look, and he's like, Boba Fett looks cool. Let's keep him in this. We're give him a predecessor.
This is what's going on in the scene, but in the background, we're gonna have.
I mean, it worked though. Boba Fett is the. You say he's overrated, but he was cool.
He was.
His ship was cool.
He sold a lot of toys.
And I was not upset when they brought him back. It didn't
wasn't
bother
either.
me.
I mean, it made sense.
And I thought it's good that they answered the question of how did he get out of the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, because
pretty well.
In recent memory, in season 2, the first time we see him is when at the end of the first episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian, when Din Djarin destroys that crate dragon.
Yeah,
with the Sand People and Cobb Vanth, and as he's leaving the city or the planet of Tatooine, it stops on this figure in a hooded black cloak, and it turns around and it's Tamira Morrison, which we all know is.
I don't think Boba I knew Fett. When I watched
it.
Oh, you knew.
Most people did. Like,
yeah, I didn't catch it.
You know, you just like, oh, because Tamira Morrison played Jango Fett, and Boba Fett is a clone of Jango Fett.
Right.
So everybody was like, oh.
Yeah.
And even if this doesn't work out, like, there's still clones that are still alive in the universe, probably, that Tamira Morrison could come back and play.
That's true.
So.
I hadn't thought it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. From the Clone Wars and stuff like that. But.
Did Boba Fett and Jango Fett did not show up in the Clone Wars, did they? No, Boba Fett as a kid
Jango Fett got beheaded in Attack of the Clones before the Clone Wars even started.
That's right.
Because the third movie takes place at the end of the Clone Wars.
He did show up the kid showed up in a couple episodes of the Clone Wars.
Yes.
I didn't watch those religiously, but I watched them like walking through the living room while my kids were watching them. Yeah. But anyway, we're all talking about everything but the book of Boba Fett.
The history of Boba Fett there.
You go. He's back. All right.
In case you needed it. So we find out that the past 5... Because this the Mandalorian and this... Well, the present day stuff, I'll call it.
Yeah.
It takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So we learned...
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So he gets out of the Sarlacc pit and gets rescued by the Sand People.
All of that takes place right after Return of the Jedi.
Right. So he's with the Sand People for...
5 years.
Oh, okay.
So that's when we pick up with him at the end of the first episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian. Right.
And that's really where we pick up with him then at the beginning of the book of Boba Fett is because that's right after that.
Yeah. He's the one that picked up Fennec Shand in the desert at the end. Well, no, the first time we saw him in The Mandalorian...
We just saw his feet there, right?
Yeah, when you heard the Spurs walking, and it's like, oh, is that Boba Fett?
See, I didn't pick up on that either. I just like some mysterious character. I'm a dense Star Wars fan.
Yeah, when he walks in the original trilogy, it's like the sound of Spurs.
Yeah.
Like, George Lucas based him on The Man with No Name.
Yeah, I saw that. I watched that little documentary after the book of Boba Fett, and I didn't know. I did not realize. So he was with the Sand People. I mean, they do like a pretty long montage of it in the first couple of episodes.
Yeah,
of him training with them and slowly getting accepted by them, and I thought that was pretty well done. It's not really new, and that's probably my biggest criticism of the whole show is like all of it is kind of like old hat. It's all stuff that's been done before. Of he gets rescued by these tribal people and earns their trust and learns how to fight like them, and they respect him and he respects them. But it's still like well done. Like he gets to make his, I don't know what his weapon is called, but
gaffy stick.
A gaffy stick. He gets to make a cool one of those, and it comes back into play at the end of the season. Like that it's pretty good, but
yeah, because the basic premise of this show is Boba Fett wants to take over Jabba the Hutt's territory.
Why does he want to do that? Answer me that. Why does Boba Fett want to take over Jabba the Hutt's palace?
He is, at least in this show, he is all about respect. After living in the desert with the Sand People, he's learned that you need a tribe of people. You can't just keep doing it by yourself.
To be a crime lord, though? Like... That's okay. So, like, I saw the end of The Mandalorian when they set it up with him. He kills, I forgot the guy's name. He kills
Bib Fortuna.
Bib Fortuna. He kills Jabba's lieutenant and says, I'm the boss now. And he sits down and I'm like, oh, cool. It's going to be like mafia movie. It's going to be like Boba Fett.
And that's what this was pitched as.
Leader
like
of the crime gang.
Like Godfather within Star Wars. And I thought he was just going to go through like a violent rip through Tatooine.
Yeah. Like it's Star Wars as The Godfather or Star Wars as Breaking Bad.
Yeah, but they kind of turned him into, like, they did the thing of like, oh, he's older now and he's respect and he doesn't want to kill people anymore.
Right. So he gets some of the values of the Sand People, but then also wants to be a crime lord. That was the part that was weird to me. I think that was the part I was like, y'all are just kind of playing with a half-baked idea.
Yeah. It was like, oh, we've got to do something with Boba Fett. I think was the big thing.
Yeah. I think they sold something they didn't have quite in mind yet. Like, because if Boba Fett really was part of the Sand People, he would not have gone back and broken into Jabba's palace and said, "Nah, I think I'll rule here for a while." Like, that's not the right move.
Basically, episodes 1 through 4 are his story through the desert. He teaches it's like episode 2. He teaches the Sand People. He gets those bikes from a gang, like some speeder bikes, and we find out the Pike Syndicate is
running the
trafficking spice through Tatooine, which is another thing that George Lucas stole from. He says borrowed, but he stole from Dune.
Oh yeah, the spice. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah.
Like the spice and Tatooine were all based on Dune.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Episode 2 was probably one of the best ones.
Yes,
though.
like that action sequence on the train.
Yeah, the train heist. Teaching them to ride the speeders. The fight to steal the speeders, where he just kind of busts up a bunch of heads in the biker bar.
But what I always hate, like, this should have been. I say don't even show him in Mandalorian season 2, and just pick up from when. Just. Maybe because he has an episode in season 2 of Mandalorian where Din Djarin takes Grogu to that Jedi seeing stone,
and he helps defend him.
And it's like, okay,
he has a lot of, because he also has another episode where he like helps with, he flies his ship and helps them.
Yeah, and like the last 2 episodes, he helps Bill Burr and the crew blow up that Imperial base. And then
I hadn't realized how intertwined these are.
Yeah, they're kind of building like a shared universe with these Disney Plus shows, which is great.
Taking the Marvel cue.
Yeah, and then, but like I feel this still could have worked if you just announced this show, say the Book of Boba Fett,
right, and
maybe just have him in that one episode of Mandalorian to show like who he is now.
Maybe.
And then we wonder like, oh, where did he get that and this? And then you pick up the Book of Boba Fett. You don't have flashbacks.
Oh, I like the flashbacks though.
We don't use them as flashbacks. We start from like the sand pit, and then you build up to the moment where he takes over.
Yeah, because you're right. The first 3 or 4 episodes were mostly flashbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a really weird structure.
Just make that the story.
That's the thing. Like, that's what I'm telling you. They sold this, he's going to be in Jabba's palace, and then they realized, oh, wait, we don't want to tell that story. So, like, the first half of the season is the backstory, how he got to Jabba's palace.
Yeah, because there's not 7 episodes worth of story with Boba Fett.
Right.
Which is evidenced by episode 5 and 6.
Yeah, that
is 2 episodes of The Mandalorian.
He wasn't even in them.
Which are the best episodes of the season.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
It is.
5 and 6, yeah.
Because, we don't have to do a lot of wondering about where Grogu is at the beginning of season 3 of Mandalorian now. Like,
yeah, they don't got to do all that setup. They can just dive right in.
But they kind of just blew through a lot of storytelling with that. I mean, jeez.
With what? With the episode 5 and 6?
Well, I guess they used it to kind of set up season 3, because now Din Djarin has to go back to Mandalore and redeem himself in the waters of whatever.
Oh, right. Yeah,
because he's no longer part of that Mandalorian sect he was a part of.
That's right.
But now, probably
Grogu's going to help him.
Katie Sackhoff's character, I forget her name at the moment.
Oh, shoot. What's her name?
She's like a big Clone Wars character, but I can't.
Yeah, I'll remember later. But yeah, she's going to fight him.
She's going to be
because she wants the sword.
She's going to be the antagonist of season 3 because she wants to rule Mandalore.
Yeah.
And Din Djarin has the Darksaber.
Hold on, I'm forgetting where we were in the Book of Boba Fett.
He's
somewhere in there.
He's walking at this point. He's become one, like, we can kind of blow through the first 4 episodes because they're all the same.
He gets the trust of the sand
people and learns to be a part of them.
Saves them from the train thing.
Yeah, and now he's a crime lord in Tatooine, and he recruits this group of malcontents.
Right, he begins to build his crew. There's the word for it.
Yeah,
that's also okay. Well, what did you think of the crew?
It's. I like the cyberpunk thing of modding bodies and stuff. And
yeah.
Did you not like the mopeds?
The Vespas.
Well, those are based on
they're so cheesy looking, man.
Those are based on mod gangs in England from the 60s. That's what that's based on.
I guess they look stupid then too. I mean, it doesn't matter what they're based on.
That's basically what they were. They were they're not really gangs, but people that rode around in England on tricked out mopeds, Vespas. That's what they are.
Yeah,
and they were really colorful to be on Tatooine, though. That's
way too cool. And the chase scene,
because they don't seem like they fit Tatooine.
Yeah, it's like episode 4 or something.
Even the prequels didn't have that much color.
No. And they don't look like they go fast. And they're like...
Now, if it was on Coruscant, I'd be like, cool.
Maybe, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And for all the talk of these people having all these modifications, they don't do anything with them.
It's true. Except that one guy uses his eye.
It's like a binocular on his eyes. He couldn't...
That just says, oh yeah, the Pike Syndicate's in town.
Yeah, Luke's got binoculars in episode 1 or episode 4, It's like... What do you need to attach this to your eyeball for? Yeah. I don't know. The mod people, a half-baked idea, I think, but they didn't take away a ton.
But after a series of going to this bar and saying, "Oh, I'm the new daimyo,"
yeah,
and then he finds out the mayor's running stuff, and then he finds out all he just finds out that all these different Trandoshans,
Gamorreans,
right. And the
I can't remember all the names.
It's the same species as the God, it's just testicle face is what it looks like. You know who I'm talking about, the blue furry thing that Luke interacts with in the first movie.
Yeah, that guy.
We're wanted on
12 systems. Yeah, they've all split up Tatooine. Yeah. The political intrigue was pretty well done. I thought, I'll tell you. So I think the best character in the whole series is the mayor's aide.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because you hate him so much.
Yeah.
Every time he's on screen. And he's supposed to be hated. He's such this squealy little and every time he's on with this timid voice of well, if I may.
Yeah.
And every time he speaks, you're like, oh my gosh, this guy again.
Yeah.
And he's just, I don't know, whoever wrote him and whoever played him, they had a perfect idea of, let's put this guy in here that everyone will hate and they're supposed to hate. He's what Jar Jar Binks could have been right there.
But after doing all of this, he gets confronted by the Hutt Twins.
Oh yeah, I forgot about them.
Jabba the Hutt's cousins.
And they don't do anything.
Not really. They just try to kill him one time with Black Chrysanthemum.
Yeah, they show up for an episode. I guess. Oh, their point was to give him the Rancor, right? Because that's where he got it from.
Yeah, it's oh, we don't contest because they oh no, Jabba gave it to us.
Why did they end up running away?
Because they said they don't want a war because it costs too much. Because he's got to fight the Pike Syndicate.
Oh, so they get intimidated out of town by everybody else, pretty much.
Yeah, and then Danny Trejo shows up. Because they send the Black Wookiee, Black Chrysanthemum.
Yeah.
Him and Boba Fett have a history in the comics.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a gladiator on this planet, and he used to be a bounty hunter, and Darth Vader sent him on different stuff before. So him and Boba Fett have a past in the comics. It didn't really come through on screen. So
no, they didn't play that at all on the screen.
But they hire him to kill Boba Fett while he's in the Bacta tank.
Right.
And his crew saves him.
Yeah, the mod people save him. That fight was all right.
Yeah.
That was pretty intense and exciting.
Those Gamorrean guards are terrible. The green pig people.
Why you don't like them?
They don't do anything.
They fought Chrysanthemum a little bit.
But they, throughout
pretty
this whole
intimidating.
series, they fight, but then they always get their ass beat.
I thought they looked good though. Like I thought,
they look better than they did in the original trilogy.
Yeah, like them walking around beside him. I thought, he looks like a crime lord.
Yeah, yeah.
Looks.
He doesn't have his little carrier thing though that they always bring up. Oh, I didn't see your. I don't forget what they call it, but
the litter.
Yeah, something.
That part was all right. Yeah. Again, though, I think they tried to just cram a whole lot of stuff in these episodes. Like
they did.
Like the Hutt Twins show up for one episode, try to kill him, decide not to, give him a Rancor as a parting gift because I don't remember the justification.
Apologize for killing him, trying to kill him.
It seems like a weird gift. And Danny Trejo, as the Rancor trainer, sticks around and kind of explains that. That was kind of cool. Like I always wondered, how does Jabba keep a giant monster under the floor of his palace?
Yeah.
And why was the guy that kept, you remember when Luke kills the Rancor, the guy that keeps it is like crying.
Yeah.
I always thought that is so weird.
Yeah.
And it's because they form a bond.
Yeah. He explains that trainer formed a bond with that Rancor.
So, that was all right. That's some of that backstory there.
But
do some explaining.
That does set up in the finale that Boba Fett went. Where did he didn't take him long to learn to ride it.
You know what? I was willing to suspend disbelief there.
the Zabrak witches of Dathomir learned to ride him, but
He's Boba Fett, though.
Yeah.
And it did have enough of a build-up, like where he looks into its eyes and they bond. And
yeah.
That was all right.
Yeah.
We can save the last episode for a minute because we're not.
I feel like we have to cover 5, 6, and 7 by themselves.
But those are just Mandalorian.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, what else is there? So, is there anything else?
So, basically,
setup?
Episode 4 ends with he has a meeting with all these families, quote unquote.
Right.
And he's like, all I ask is if you're not going to fight with me, is that you remain neutral in my fight with the Pikes. And
all of us saw the fact coming that they were going to betray him.
Yeah.
Especially, how many times they replayed that in the previously on section?
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah.
Twice they've got these guys going, yes, we will be neutral. It's like,
they're not.
No, they're not.
Yeah. So, at the end of that episode, Fennec Shand, his helper this whole time,
right,
played by Ming-Na Wen,
right,
says, you can always hire help. And as soon as she says that, we get a flourish of the Mandalorian theme.
That's right. They didn't show him yet.
No, which is a superior character.
Yeah, and then he shows up in 5 and 6. Oh, but right before that, we figure out that Fennec Shand is half robot.
Well, we knew that the whole time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because in that episode in season 2 of Mandalorian,
right,
where they're on the planet where they set Grogu on the Seeing Stone,
right,
he's like, Fennec, how did you survive? And she pulls a little thing and the little gears.
Oh, that's right.
Boba Fett saved my life, so now I'm just sticking around with him forever now, I guess.
Yeah, that's her motivation is not really explained.
No, but they kind of cover that in the flashbacks where after he picks like this biker gang that Boba Fett once we'll cover the rest of the flashbacks because we didn't really finish that.
Okay.
Boba Fett after he gets his gaffy stick and his cloak,
right,
he rides into Mos Eisley, I'm gonna guess.
Somewhere nearby.
I think it's Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
And the leader of the Pike Syndicate is there. And this is after the train robbery where they've made the deal with the Syndicate to say, hey, you're going to pay us to cross this desert.
Right.
And he goes to agree to terms to them. And the Pike Syndicate tricks him into going after this biker gang because he says...
I'm already paying them protection.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay them and you.
Yeah, and then he goes back to the Tusken Raiders,
right,
where their group is, and he sees that they've all been slaughtered, and the little symbol of that biker gang is all throughout the place. So it's made to look like the bikers took them out. So he wanders the desert some more, and he picks up with I think it's the 4th or 5th episode of Mandalorian after that crappy bounty hunter shot Fennec Shand in the desert, because that was an episode that the Mandalorian was looking for, took a bounty trying to find Fennec Shand in Tatooine.
Yeah.
Picks her up, takes her to a robot doctor, and has her fixed up, and blah, 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 blah. And he finds the mission of that episode was to get his ship.
Yeah, that's where they go break in.
Yeah, and have that like heist of Jabba's palace.
That was pretty entertaining, too.
It was.
The robot homage to General Grievous cracked me up.
Oh, yeah.
The chef robot.
Yeah.
That was... and the little... And him... Okay, that part was a little cringy. Him chasing around that
little... the
exterminator robot?
the little rodent catcher robot.
Yeah, that was...
okay.
Boba Fett's crawling around on his hands and knees.
Like Star Wars is silly, but it's not this silly.
Right.
So he gets his ship, and him and Fennec Shand go off, and he finds that biker gang, just blows them.
That's right. Just strafing run.
Yeah. And for some reason, he still thinks his armor is in the... I mean, I guess he wasn't fully awake when the Jawas took it off of his body.
That's right. Yeah, so he goes back to the Sarlacc and looks for his armor, but doesn't find it.
Yeah.
How does he figure out that Din Djarin has it? I can't remember.
That's not really explained.
He just shows up for it?
He's just at the end of that first episode of season 2.
Okay.
Din Djarin is on a speeder bike back to Mos Eisley with Boba Fett's armor on the back of thing that he got from Cobb Vanth, and
maybe Boba Fett tracked down Cobb Vanth in some off-screen interaction.
I have to think that.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, who cares?
Yeah, yeah, that's no big deal.
Yeah, and so.
It covers a whole lot of ground. Like, now that we're going back over that, like, what all happens in this series?
A lot.
It's a lot.
You don't think so, but it is a lot.
Yeah. Which is good. I'd rather a series move kind of quickly than move too slow.
I'd rather you pick a protagonist and stick with them.
Yeah. So, yeah, halfway through episode 5, when you're like, okay, so Boba never shows up.
Yeah.
Then that was a little weird.
Because episode 5...
That's when it starts.
We had that flourish of the Mandalorian scene. I was like, oh, he's going to show up next week.
Right. Not just show up.
He's
taking over.
He's got a whole episode, buddy.
It's my show now.
And he has a very awesome intro.
Like, oh, yeah. The fight in the meat locker thing? Yeah.
He comes in. He just shows up.
He does his line. I can take you in hot or cold.
He just stands in the middle of the thing, slowly walks in, and is that little flourish from that very first episode of The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. And goes back and he finds the guy. He's like, I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
Yeah.
Which is...
That's, I like that line. He uses that at least a couple of times.
Watching that first episode... when Disney Plus came out, and I was like, he is already 100 times better than Boba Fett.
100 times?
Yes.
100 times?
Yes. Din Djarin is my favorite character in Star Wars right now.
Really? That high?
Yes. It is my favorite thing that Disney has done with Star Wars.
You want to know? Okay,
and this is a guy that is a fan of The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I said it.
Okay. I'm not gonna approach that can of worms, but you open the door here. You know who my favorite character is in The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett? The 2 X-Wing guys.
Yes.
I love them.
Yeah.
They have like that one scene in it's episode 5 where they're like, do you want to fill out paperwork for this? No, do you?
Fun fact, that guy in this series in Boba Fett was the double that played Luke Skywalker at the end of season 2 of Mandalorian.
The X-Wing pilot is...
Yeah, he was he was the actor that they put Mark Hamill's face on very badly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not too great there.
But, well, no, we haven't got to that yet. But Din Djarin comes in. He's got his bounty. He doesn't know how to use the Darksaber yet. He's not well versed.
It gets heavier as he uses it or something?
Yes, which I love that piece of lore they added to that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
This was interesting to me that he goes, so he gets his bounty and then he goes to find the other Mandalorians, and the armorer lady is there. Mm-hmm. She's a cool character.
Yeah.
She's a stickler for the rules too.
Yeah.
Because she says, oh, you've got a Beskar spear. Beskar should never be a weapon. Should only be armor.
Yeah, which confused me because I'm like, isn't that what his little
But they don't shoot, I guess.
Whistling Bird, isn't that made out of
Were
Beskar?
those made out of Beskar?
I think they were.
They might have
'Cause
been.
in the first episode, in the very first or second episode of Mandalorian, he gets paid in Beskar for bringing back Grogu, or the child as he was known at this point. And he says, give this to the foundlings and then use this as something to make for me.
Maybe it was just the launcher.
He gets that shoulder blade. Well, what, the ammo's not made out of?
Maybe the ammo is just regular old bullets, and so it's a squeeze by on a technicality. Right. I'm purely hypothesizing
because that's when I heard that line. I was like, well, wait a minute.
I thought it was interesting though.
Yeah, and it makes sense.
Yeah. And then, so if there's only like 3 Mandalorians left, why you gotta pick fights with each other?
In that sect.
Okay,
because you gotta remember, this is like a cult that broke off from the Death Watch.
Yeah.
And they believe that you keep your helmet on. Like, you live with the helmet on.
Kind of a worthless sect, if you ask me. Because they can't have each other's back here. Like, some guy shows up with the dark saber and you're like, well, it's mine.
That character, I think his name was something Vizsla.
Yeah, you're right.
Not Pre-Vizsla, because that's his dad, and not Tar Vizsla, because that's the...
Oh, so you know this guy?
Yes,
he's in the comics.
He's his ancestor is Tar Vizsla, who was the first Mandalorian and Jedi.
Oh,
he built the Darksaber was his Jedi, was his lightsaber.
Yeah, they explain that.
And he came back and ruled Mandalore, and that's when the Darksaber became a symbol for the rule of Mandalore.
So other dude is his descendant.
Really, I think this is what they're really setting up. With
I think you're right.
Mandalorian season 3 is Din Djarin is probably, he might be Force sensitive. We don't know.
You think he's going to be a Jedi?
I think so.
That would be interesting.
That would be cool. He would be the second Mandalorian that's learns to be a Jedi. That's really what they're setting up. Because why have Luke Skywalker show up and remind us that, oh yeah, he's looking for a new generation of Jedi?
Well, you know why? Because somebody pissed all over Luke Skywalker's legacy. And Dave Filoni was like, you know what? No, I think I want to keep the hero, the OG hero of the original trilogy, intact. That's what it was.
Well, also, Luke Skywalker was doing it completely wrong again because he deals in absolutes.
You mean in the Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah, like he didn't learn anything from the failure of the Jedi. And who can blame him? He wasn't around when the time of the Jedi.
I mean, he's just
going through the books, and he's looking at the teachings, and he's like, oh, well, you need to separate yourself from society. Which,
no attachments.
No Jedi ever did.
It doesn't seem very good, like they succeeded at it.
How can you be an effective protector and have no attachments?
I never really got that.
Exactly. So Luke Skywalker is going through these teachings again and is doing that again, and he's not realizing it. That's why he failed, and that's why he is where he is in The Last Jedi.
You're justifying the unjustifiable.
No, that was... and
there's no excuse for what they did to him. None.
It was great.
No.
Because he failed. He cut himself off from the Force. But he learns, he realized, this is going to be a tangent for Last Jedi. I don't care. It's my podcast. He learns at the end of that movie, because you don't want your character to be the same at the beginning as he is at the end, you know?
Okay.
So he learns in The Last Jedi that, hey, I know I'm not the legend of Luke Skywalker that they want me to be.
Right.
But in this last selfless act, I can create the legend of Luke Skywalker and show the rebellion that I will stand up single-handedly to the First Order and allow them to escape. And they will use that spark of the rebellion to carry on, but also make a shitty movie.
You're just adding stuff to the movie. Yeah, it's crazy. None of that happened. All they did was piss on his legacy.
No, they didn't.
They did. And I'm going to explain it to you in an incontrovertible way, but you'll probably edit it out.
Okay.
No, that was it.
Oh. Because to expect your hero to be the same in his like 50s or 60s.
Okay, yeah, but okay.
As he was in his idealistic 20s and 30s is
that's fair.
And even Yoda says,
That's fair.
like Yoda shows up in The Last Jedi, and one of my favorite moments, and is like, as leaders, we are not. I mean, we are what they become, basically.
Maybe
we're not what we are right now. We are what our mentees or students become.
You might have a point.
Okay, thank you.
But
it only took a 20-minute rant.
But when Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni had Luke Skywalker show up at the end of The Mandalorian Season 2 and kick butt, they forever won a place in my heart.
Yes.
Forever.
Absolutely. I want to see Luke Skywalker at his peak, because we never really got that in the 80s with good fight choreography or anything.
Yeah, and the scene we get in Episode 6 of The Book of Boba Fett, just to bring it back, is what we should have gotten in The Last Jedi, but where Luke trains somebody. We never got to see Luke the trainer, and so here we get to see Luke training Grogu to use the Force.
I will give you that.
Like, they could have done that with Rey instead.
Because, we get bitter old man Luke.
Yeah.
And I get that.
Yeah. Maybe it's just, you could have gotten a pass with making one character bitter old man Luke, but we got bitter old woman Leia and bitter old man Han. You can't kill all of them.
I argue to this day they should have never brought all three of them back.
I don't know.
Just, if you want to start something new, start something new. I
tell you though, they should have have hired Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau.
I think they've realized that now.
To do the sequel series.
I think these series are a training ground to get Dave Filoni used to live action, because
because he did the Clone Wars.
Yeah, this is a first. He's created a lot of stuff in Star Wars with the Clone Wars and everything. Yeah, this is like a good training ground to get him up to.
Is he directing this too?
He wrote and directed Episode 6.
Which was pretty good.
Yes, because he created Ahsoka. He created Cad Bane, which shows up at the end. Yeah. Like, both of those came from the Clone Wars. Right. And stuff like that. So.
One of my friends, Cameron, posted on Facebook that, so really, Boba Fett is just Dave Filoni sitting around and playing with his Star Wars toys at this point.
Absolutely.
He's just got all of his characters, bringing them in like, and you'll fight you now.
All this stuff I've created, I'm going to have them meet. But it was really cool. But we'll go back to Episode 5 of Mandalorian.
Okay. What happened that we hadn't covered?
We got off topic. Okay. He finds the culvert now that is just the armor, and that's going to bother me. I've got to look up which Vizsla that is.
Okay, the armor. All right, look it up.
It's voiced by Jon Favreau. I know that much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he played Pre Vizsla in the Clone Wars. He voiced Pre Vizsla in the Clone Wars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. At least, yeah.
I feel really nerdy for knowing that. So,
see, I'm a big fan of Star Wars, but I never got into the comics, and I never watched the Clone Wars.
I've just watched a lot of recaps of the Clone Wars. I haven't sat down and watched it.
The Clone Wars is really solid.
I've always tried, and it's like, that first season is like...
Oh, see, that you got to watch it the way I did, where you just kind of vaguely get bits and pieces of it as you watch through.
The last 3 episodes with like Darth Maul and Ahsoka in like the final season they put out on Disney Plus, I was like, oh, this is perfect. They got like Ray Park to come back and do the motion capture for the fight between him and Ahsoka, and they had a stunt woman do motion capture for Ahsoka. That's why that fight looks more real.
You've told me this, and it does.
Any other fight in the animated series, it's not as floaty. It looks like real people hitting each other. It's great.
They did a great job. To go back to the sidetrack while you look that up.
Paz Vizsla is his name, or Paz Vizsla.
Paz?
Yeah.
Meaning
peace.
peace.
Paz is the son of Pre. Pre's grandfather, I'm probably going to guess, is Tar Vizsla, who's the Jedi. Mandalorian Jedi.
You got it.
Wielder of the Darksaber.
So he finds them.
Yes.
Down in the culvert.
And
tells them, hey, I found this cool Darksaber.
Paz is like, wait a second.
Yeah.
That's my grandpappy's.
Yeah, I want to rule Mandalore.
Because that's what the first time the Darksaber is introduced is Paz Vizsla's daddy has it, Pre Vizsla.
Okay. In the Clone Wars, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yes.
So I thought so. They fight. Paz Vizsla and Din Djarin fight, and Din Djarin wins
because the Darksaber can only be
taken in combat. Right. And Din Djarin wins, but then I thought he had to give up the Darksaber. I was under the wrong impression.
No. He
just gets exiled because the armorer lady says, "Have you taken your helmet off?"
Right, because she's like reaffirming the creed between the both of them. Because she's telling me, "Hey, calm down. He's won.
Yeah.
Now let's reaffirm the creed."
And Din Djarin says, "No."
And all his honesty, like you could always lie about that. Like,
she don't know
exactly, dude.
I guess that would also break the creed
to show how honorable our protagonist is.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah,
good for him.
He's a man of his word. He's always
And then he goes back. So what did you think? So after that is when he shows up on Tatooine.
Correct.
And he gets his new ship.
Yep.
That lady is one of my least favorite characters in the show.
You don't like Amy Sedaris?
No. Well, the actress is all right.
She's a very funny comedic actress.
Yeah, I don't know. Her character.
Yeah, she's just there
on my nerves.
To say silly stuff and be funny.
She seems like she's hamming every line she says, like overdoing it.
You're doing a Star Wars show.
Yeah, maybe I'm too sensitive to it. Yeah. I don't know. His ship, though, why a Naboo fighter? That one was weird.
It's a hot rod.
It ends up looking cool. It suits him at the end. It's better than the Razor Crest.
I missed the Razor Crest though.
The Razor Crest was cool, but
that was like his house.
This makes up for the Razor Crest by the shot at the very end.
Yeah,
when he's flying out and Grogu's in the little astropod at the back.
Well, as soon as you saw that, you knew.
I didn't.
Like, okay,
you pick up on a lot more than I do. Well,
she mentions like it's just enough space to carry something small, and I'm like, oh well, okay.
Yeah, you saw it. I didn't have a clue. I was like, oh, okay.
That's where Grogu's going.
I was sitting there thinking, how's a bounty hunter going to get his bounty?
See that's why I missed the Razor Crest. Like,
yeah, he can't capture people in this ship.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think.
No.
Well,
he could trail them behind the ship. He could throw them in some carbonite somewhere. And
I guess.
Get a tow cable attached and.
Yeah. And that was the end of episode 5 as he gets his ship and then he sees the two. That's why that's my favorite. The two X-Wing guys are my favorite. It's because that's what I was looking for in the sequels. I wanted to see how do a group of rebels now rule the galaxy.
Yeah,
you killed the Empire.
Yeah,
how do you establish order? And that's what those two guys are. They're these two cops patrolling this backwater planet, and they said, "Do you want to fill out paperwork?"
Well, basically, they're trying to cover like the entire outer rim, basically,
and a couple of X-wings. I'm like, this is the world I wanted to see you tell a story in.
That's what Rangers of the New Republic was going to be.
That's what it was going to be. We got one more episode.
Two more episodes.
Two more episodes. What happens in episode 6? Luke trains Grogu. Grogu chooses the Mandalorian and says, I'd rather go with him.
It was awesome to see Ahsoka talk to Luke.
That was cool. That was neat.
And like be like,
once you know their backstory, that was, I teared up a little bit there. Yeah, that was cool. And seeing his school get built, that was pretty cool. Yeah. There was a lot of neat stuff happening in that episode.
And his terrible mistake of saying you have to either choose this or this.
I agree with you there. Like, why is Luke doing that when he realized?
Because that's what's in because he has the Jedi books at this point.
So maybe you're right. Maybe they're setting up the Last Jedi.
It's setting up his failure of the second Jedi Order,
which is fair, because you're asking somebody who was never really trained as a Jedi, fully, to reestablish the Order based on just these books.
It's just unfortunate that we had a movie from J.J. Abrams where at the end of it, our protagonist who hasn't, for some reason, they make a big emphasis of the last name of Rey in the third movie, and then because she doesn't have one, she doesn't have a family,
right? So you agree that
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
As soon as that first
the worst Star Wars movie.
Yes.
Bar none.
When they had the first trailer, when they announced the title, I was like, oh shit.
You knew from the title it was going to be bad?
Yes. I was like, they put Skywalker in the title. They're going to reveal that Rey is a Skywalker, or like at the end of that movie, she just takes the Skywalker name. She takes the name of two people she barely knew.
Yeah. No, that
who just had an impact on her life.
I don't know. It's amazing that Disney recovered from those movies.
Have you seen the leaked storyboards of what Colin Trevorrow was going to do for that movie?
You've told me about them, and they make me furious.
It starts out with a heist of a original Star Destroyer.
Yeah, see, don't tell me. It just makes me mad.
Like
knowing what we could have had.
Rey has a double-bladed lightsaber.
It's just
they were setting her up for that.
Why are you telling me that?
You don't think I got sad too?
Oh gosh! At least we got like the Mandalorian and Boba Fett to make up for that.
The Force ghost of Luke is haunting Kylo Ren.
It's so bad.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
Anyway. Basically, all that episode is
Grogu making that choice, right?
Yeah, it's a big lead up. It's like the big theme of that is, well, Ahsoka asks Din Djarin a pretty good question. Like, are you here to make sure he's okay for him or for you?
Yeah, which that was insightful. Yeah, you're right. She's a good, solid character in that episode. She's helping Luke balance what he's trying to do, and she's helping Din Djarin realize what he's doing.
She's like 40, 50 years old at this point, probably.
That's true.
So she's like the older Jedi, even though she's not technically a Jedi.
Yeah. I wonder, they've got to be it's got to be that they're going to do more with her.
Oh, well, she's getting her own show.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, duh. They're going to do more with her. Good. I'm glad I called that.
They announced that like last year.
I knew that. Yeah. Sorry. It's a long day.
But I'm probably the only person that watches an investor meeting from Disney where they announce all their titles.
No, I bet you're not. I bet you're not. Star Wars.
Because that's what old Feige got up there and announced all those Marvel shows.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. She and the actress who's playing her is doing a good job.
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, like it. So yeah, episode 6 was mostly like a nostalgia fest.
Yeah, it
Luke
was,
and Ahsoka and Grogu's back,
but after Din Djarin leaves the chainmail, they break down the spear and he asks the armorer to make a little piece of chainmail for Grogu.
Right.
And then he gives that to Ahsoka, and she gives it to Luke, and Luke makes Grogu choose between that or Yoda's lightsaber.
And he chooses we didn't see it in...
No, it just ends on that shot.
Right, but we kind of know he's going to.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little cockpit in his new ship.
Yeah.
And...
It did have some cool shots of the Force training in that episode, like where Luke pulls all the frogs out of the swamp. That was pretty slick.
Which is, it's a real, like, circle of where he started. He was learning the Force from a little mysterious green alien who showed him, like, tried to make him pull the X-Wing out the swamp. And he's like, I can't do it. You can't do it. I'm a Skywalker, so I gotta be whiny. And then Yoda just effortlessly with the Force just raises it up.
Right.
And in this, it comes full circle with Grogu getting distracted by a frog, and he's trying to get
one frog.
Yeah, and then Luke just reaches up and lifts like 15 frogs, and he just like straight up plops them back down. Doesn't even.
It's also got like the same homage being paid with Grogu on his back.
Oh yeah, while Grogu in a little backpack,
like he did with Yoda.
Oh, that's so cute. Every time Grogu just shows up, I'm like, oh.
I love how they're not ashamed to like let him be a puppet instead of super slick CGI.
So great. But you know how much I probably told you. You know how much that puppet cost?
No.
$10 million.
Ooh.
They spent there's like 3 different versions of Grogu.
So my side hustle as a puppet designer could take off.
Yeah. I don't think it's Jim Henson's workshop. I think it's like an original ILM thing.
Really?
But yeah, they spent
$10 million.
Yes. A lot of money getting this puppet to look.
I mean, it does look pretty cool.
Like you can tell when it's like the puppet and when the CGI it's a little bit of CGI they used.
Yeah, well, I'm sure.
There's a real great video of Robert Rodriguez, who's the executive producer of this show.
Okay.
He directed that Boba Fett episode in season 2 of Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
And there's a shot of him on set with a guitar, and he's playing a guitar, and whoever's operating the puppet is
making him
with
dance.
Grogu, like making him dance like that. So yeah, close out on that, and then we go back to Tatooine finally, and
for the showdown.
we see Boba Fett again. He's actually in his own show.
Oh yeah, he shows up at like the tail end of
Has
episode 6.
No line.
Yeah, he had hardly any screen time and no lines for 2 episodes.
He just nods, and then we leave with Din Djarin again, and we're going to the desert.
Yeah. To meet Cobb Vanth.
Mos Espa?
Yes, Freetown now.
Freetown, yes.
Yeah. Mos Espa's right there.
Because this episode opens with Cobb Vanth.
Yeah, you're right.
If we can, let's rewind all the way back to the beginning.
That was one of my favorite scenes. Yeah,
Yes.
where Cobb Vanth comes out and he's a justified character again.
Yeah.
What was his name in that show?
I don't know.
Well, he's totally the gunslinger. He's like, you want to think about that.
Yeah.
Or what does he say? I can't remember.
But
it's close to that.
He tells the Pike, there's like a group of Pike syndicates that's like dealing
They're
some
running the
spice.
spice.
Yeah. And he's like, just leave it there. Takes out like 3 of them, leaves one alive. And he's like, you're the smart one.
Yeah.
We just leave that there.
And he kicks it into the dust.
And it's the spice melange.
Yeah.
The Quidsac Satarac will rise.
I haven't seen the movie, so your references.
So good.
I know. I'm trying to. I'm gonna see it. Yeah,
You can come over here and watch it sometime.
There you go.
It's so good.
We'll live stream it.
No, I own it.
Yeah. No, I meant like we'll put it on a podcast episode and running commentary.
No,
like,
you want me to get sued?
Yeah. Yeah, you get taken down. Never mind.
But anyway,
episode 7, Cobb Vanth. Does he get shot in the beginning of that?
It's at the end because that's when he tries.
So it's the end of episode 6.
Yeah, because Cobb Vanth has a new deputy, and
who's an idiot.
Yeah, the Mandalorian shows up at the end, and the guy tries to tell him he can't park there.
Right.
Like, we're in the middle of the desert, bro. Like, what does it matter?
And, he's a police officer. He's got this authority. He's got to use it somehow.
Yeah. So Cobb Vanth comes out. I was like, calm down.
Yeah.
And he invites him in for a drink, and he explains, like, I want the people of Freetown to come help Boba Fett fight because, the
And
Pikes.
he says no, right?
Yeah.
He says it's not going to happen.
Yeah. And
then the Mandalorian leaves. But the Mandalorian thinks he's going to show up. The Mandalorian thinks he's just going to change his mind.
I guess. I don't know.
And then Blue Skin Dude shows in.
Cad Bane.
Why they got to have Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane? Can't you change
the
names up a little bit?
Because as the title of the episode promise, out of the desert comes a stranger.
Right.
Cad Bane, who is based off of Bright Eyes from The Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh, okay.
And he comes out of the desert and says,
with his cool hat.
Yes.
And his voice. That's the same actor from the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
They did an amazing job with the makeup and with the voice.
Yeah.
Like his facial expressions are just evil.
As long as the spice flows through.
That's pretty good.
As long as the spice flows, everyone will live, or something like that.
Yeah. And then he shoots Cobb Vanth because his deputy's like inching up on him, trying to draw on him, and yeah. And poor Cobb, but he's not dead.
Not dead.
You realize
he gets shot. Well, he gets shot in the like.
Yeah,
right
you could
shoulder.
tell. You know, he's the main character, and he got shot and fell down without a close-up camera shot. So,
but that sets up the last episode,
right,
of the Book of Boba Fett, where we actually have Boba Fett again.
The last episode.
It's just a really long shootout.
It did not make a ton of sense. Like, as far as like the logistics of the fight, like it was very kind of.
You got to remember, this show was shot. It's very expensive, but it
was very expensive.
It's shot in the volume, so they're basically in a confined space in this dome where they can change the background.
Yeah,
they're basically running a video game engine, so wherever, where like you can see it, like you can see like what the actors can see, what we see on screen, basically.
I mean, that's really slick.
And when you move the camera, like the stuff moves with you. Yeah. So
I'm just saying there was like a lot of off-screen events happening. Like Chrysanthemum gets overwhelmed at one point by the whatever aliens.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, he's dead. But then somehow, miraculously, he shows up later with them climbing all over him still. And he's like kicking them off.
Well, he's a Wookiee.
Yeah, you know.
Everybody fights the different separate families.
And you don't see why, like, because you know the families are going to betray him.
Because shockingly, we have that scene where all the families are with the head of the Pike Syndicate. And Cad Bane is like, I can draw him out.
Yeah.
Because, fun fact, Cad Bane is the one who trains Boba Fett in the ways of bounty hunting.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
That's how he's introduced in the Clone Wars. They're in prison together.
I see.
So he's the one that's
because his dad couldn't.
Yeah, that's like, because he and at the end he's like, you have the same blood that flowed to your father, and like talks junk about his daddy and whatnot.
I just the fights, the shootout fights were like very much. They were pretty cheesy. I thought.
The dude with the eye does like a 360 scope thing, and then I'm like, what?
All of the shots were basically, let's point the camera at the good guys and they'll do some cool pose while firing, and then let's look at the bad guys and they'll get shot. Now
the scene where Boba Fett and Din Djarin come out of the wrecked saloon, because the saloon has been blown up. That's at this
true.
point.
And they come flying.
They come out like Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid.
That part was good,
and they're just like.
After that, it was kind of cheesy until the Rancor shows up.
Until Boba Fett shows up.
Until we got
Rancor.
Godzilla versus.
I guess that's what he was doing.
Mecha monster.
In those previous 2 episodes, he was learning to ride a Rancor.
There you go, off screen. They didn't have the budget to put the Rancor on the screen for 2 episodes.
That's true.
So
it wasn't stop motion like back in the 80s. So.
I mean, but the fight, okay, like I don't care how cheesy it was. The fight between the Rancor and the, what do they call them?
Something scorpion
droids? Yeah, like
they look like Droideka, like a big version of Droideka.
They totally ripped that off.
Which I think I heard something today that like those were based off concept art from Attack of the Clones.
Oh, okay.
They've basically just been going through all the old concept art.
I mean, why not?
I was like, well,
hey, let's use this.
Let's use this.
Yeah,
Ralph McCrory already drew it.
But like, okay, these big scary lumbering robots that like there's 20 people running 50 yards maybe down the street, and the thing's chasing them. It's like, I can't shoot anywhere but 10 feet behind you. That was the part I'm talking about. Like their fight was kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But then the Rancor versus the droid, I mean, it just looked cool. It didn't matter if you believed it or not.
Just like in cool. Dune, the kinetic weapons won't work through the shield. Just in Dune, like everyone knows the slow blade is the one that gets through the shield.
Right.
So you can't just because they even say like our kinetic weapons won't do anything.
That's true.
So
he does get through the shield once, then gets to use the dark saber on the droid. That was
he does, yeah, because the Rancor like busts up the shield enough where he can like kind of pass through, and
then the lady shows up halfway through with Grogu, and that was again her like
because Grogu shows up in an X-wing.
That bothered you?
Is R2 flying?
Yeah, they mentioned that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like when she climbs up, she says something like, "They're letting you fly X-wings already?" And the droid, and then she turns to the droid behind her and says, "I know the astromech."
Because I was watching it yesterday morning, and like, I'm sitting there like, okay, oh no, Luke's not in this episode too, is he?
I thought for a second, I'm like, what are they going to do? Have Luke fight all these guys?
Luke's showing up?
Like, is Ahsoka going to be here too? Why not?
And then the thing popped, and his grow.
Yeah.
So I was like, did he fly?
No. R2 can fly the X-wing.
Okay. So, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that was all right.
Yeah.
And I look like she's running out saying, "Officer, my permit. I just filed
it this morning."
That's the world I want to see.
Isn't that just lucky?
I want to see that world where the New Republic is trying to set up their bureaucracy and enforce their laws.
It's like, me mailing my check for the HOA here for on the 29th or 30th.
It's in the mail, I promise.
I even called him yesterday. It was like, y'all got my, because I hadn't taken out my account yet. And I was like, y'all got my check, right? And she was like, yeah, it's here. We're just waiting to, and I was like, okay, because it's been like a week.
You got to cash that sucker.
Y'all don't do anything else but take my money. So yeah.
He fights with the Rancor, kills the 2 droids. Mm-hmm. That was worth watching. That was cool. Then the Rancor goes off the rails for some reason.
Cad Bane flamethrower to the face.
Oh right, yeah, because he has to fight Cad Bane there, and he kills him with his gaffy stick.
Yeah,
after he says mean things about him.
Yeah, he's like because because the episode really starts out like a showdown between the 2 of them.
Yeah,
and he's like, "What's your angle?"
Yeah,
because he's like, because he can't comprehend
anything but evil,
anything but like living for yourself and bounty hunter is a lonely trade. You think he's still alive?
Who?
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane? No, he got stabbed through the chest. Like
his little beepy thing was still going.
His little beepy thing was still going? No, he's dead. I thought for a second, so when at the tail end, when he says, oh, somebody's using my bacta tank, and they start zooming in on it after the post-credits, I thought that was
Cad Bane?
I thought he saved Cad Bane for a second.
Cad Bane.
But no, it's Cad Bane.
Like, he just took a blaster bolt to the shoulder. Like,
yeah, he should be fine. Give him some orange juice and let him walk it off.
Like, I think Boba Fett needs that more than Cad Bane.
Yeah. But no, I think Cad Bane's dead.
Okay.
I mean, maybe. I mean,
they can find a way to bring him back.
You catch these hints that are there much better than I do. So maybe, they were like, no, let's leave him blink his little light blinking.
Yeah.
He was cool. He's a cool bad guy.
But as, we mentioned earlier in the episode, this was all basically Mandalorian season 2.5 because it ends with the triumphant Mandalorian theme song. Like, it's not even Boba Fett's theme to this whole thing. It ends on the Mandalorian and Grogu. And Grogu gets to... I love the scene where Grogu puts the Rancor to sleep. Yes. That was cool. That's shown that he's learned something. He's learned the Force. He's learned how to control it more. Because I thought for a second, they're just going to have him come in and, crunch the robots up or something. I thought that's not going to be any good. Yeah, because he takes that piece off of that thing, and I was like... But I like that they gave him this different... It shows he's learning stuff. Yeah. But doesn't make him just this god in the machine of, he'll solve all our problems. You think we'll ever get, an adult version of Grogu? No, because it takes him, hundreds of years to grow up. It's true. Right? You think he'll ever, at least get a voice? Maybe. I don't know, because, I don't know. Because he's 50. Maybe. I don't know. It depends if they're going to keep him around or not. I thought they were done with him, though. I thought they were, too. I didn't think they were going to bring him back. No, he makes too much money. You think that's it? You think it's just purely, I mean, people love, honestly, half the success of The Mandalorian was Baby Yoda. When I first saw Grogu in that first episode, at the end of it, yeah, I mean, I was like, they are going to sell so much stuff with this little thing's face on it. I mean, maybe. And I'm sure that's why they brought it back. I'm sure that's what the executives thought when they first saw the episode. When Bob Iger, head of Disney, first saw the episode, he's like, give me the marketing department. I can sell so much stuff. And they did. I mean, yeah. Golly. I mean, they made back what they paid for Disney with The Force Awakens. Right. Probably right. I mean, yeah, you're right. It ends with... I mean, there's not really even a wrap-up to Boba Fett's story arc. Not really. It's just he's head of Tatooine now. Yeah. Well, you get the scene of him walking through town. Walking through streets. And everybody's bowing to him. Can we leave Boba Fett now? Can we just leave him there? I don't know. You think you're done with him? I hope so. I don't know. I bet we'll get a season 2. You didn't fully give him his own show. Maybe not. Maybe you're right. I don't think Tamora Morrison really has the acting chops. I don't think he has what it takes to be a lead. I think that's why they kind of switched it up and made it Mandalorian. But now, in his defense, I don't think it's all him. I think they didn't have a story to tell for Boba Fett. Yeah. Okay. They didn't really give one. The only story they had to tell with Boba Fett, the only thing they really had to do was explain how he got out of the Sarlacc. And they could have told the story of him getting revenge for the Sand People getting murdered. Yes. But it's not even him in this. I think this whole season could have been the story of him and the Sand People. Right. They could have done that, and that would have worked. And he was good when he was learning Dances with Wolves kind of thing.
Yeah. The scenes where he's communicating with them kind of without speaking and learning to fight with them, he does a good job there, I feel like. He goes on a lizard desert acid trip. That was weird. That's how you guys gaffy stick. That was weird, but that was, yeah. But yeah, I thought it was Fennec Shand kills all the she kills the mayor and all those people at the end. Kind of in a cheesy way. It doesn't show anything. How did she get up on the roof and shoot them? It doesn't matter. It's just they all die from blaster shots. Okay, they just had to wrap that up. She's a master assassin. She did it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll give him I would watch it if they did a book of Boba Fett too. It was not a great show. I don't think they are. But I would watch it. But again, Dave Filoni, he knows what he's doing. Yeah, I I would buy him a lot of beers.
Him and Jon Favreau, they've got a.
And I mean, like, I'll agree with you a little bit about Luke's character, but still, I don't know if I can ever. I like
Rian Johnson's a good writer.
I like Rian Johnson just fine, and I'm really glad that Knives Out succeeded.
He did not deserve all the personal attacks he got when that movie came out.
Did. Yeah, he did. For what he did to Luke, he deserved it.
He deserved harassment on Instagram.
Yeah, no.
To the point where he had to turn off his comments.
Okay, maybe not that much.
Like he deserved death threats.
No, okay.
And calling him several names. And
I feel, okay, I'm not going to say, no, he did not deserve it, but I feel no sympathy for anything that Rian Johnson went through after what he did to Luke. None. I'm really bitter about it.
I mean, he got paid, so
he got his money. He's fine.
I don't think he's not doing his trilogy anymore.
Listen,
I don't think.
When Luke Skywalker shoved that stupid bottle against the alien nipple and then drank it on screen like that,
I will give you that was stupid.
Rian Johnson was dead to me after that. Well, for a good 6 months until Knives Out was released, and then he was redeemed.
He sold.
I hated him.
He's signed a deal with Netflix to do like 2 more Knives Out movies for like $240 million.
I hope somebody worked a writer in there where he cannot do any more Star Wars movies.
He's doing okay.
He's all right. He's a great filmmaker.
Because the Benioff and Weiss guys, the guys that did Game of Thrones, they're just like signing up to stuff and getting paid to do development stuff. And then like, no, because they were going to do like a Old Republic or a High Republic's
and they botched the Game of Thrones so bad, nobody's going to let them do anything.
Yeah, well, they were going to do like High Republic stuff for Star Wars, and then
that could have been cool
because they announced that. The problem with Star Wars now is they announce stuff too early.
Oh yeah,
because Patty Jenkins was going to do a some kind of X-Wing pilot movie, like fighter.
Oh, there's a great book series that follows a bunch of X-Wing pilots.
And she says like, because her dad was a pilot, and she's like, I've always wanted to do a pilot movie, like a fighter.
But she's not doing it anymore.
There's creative differences in scheduling, and apparently these people don't have calendars that they can look at.
Michael Stackpole wrote a whole series of X-Wing Squadron books that were
Rogue Squadron is the name because it's
Rogue Squadron.
The EA did a video game.
That was probably the best Star Wars book series. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I haven't read many of them since, but that was a really good one. I thought as a teenager. I could be completely wrong.
So that's Book of Boba Fett, and
yeah, we wrapped it up.
Our several random tangents that we went on.
You can edit some of them out.
No, I'm gonna leave my Last Jedi one in. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you're. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if we went too far.
I'm not gonna edit myself on that.
Maybe we should do the last. No, that would just be an hour long.
That would be an hour long.
I'd just be
argument.
yelling at you, and we'd both sound like terrible.
I'd have to
people.
get my friend Will in here too.
Does he like it?
No, he hates it.
Yeah, that would not be a podcast episode. We just make it a YouTube video. Like we just need some boxing gloves and a ring.
I do want to cover. I want to give it some more time because it's been talked to death. But I'd like to do Rise of Skywalker.
Oh gosh. I don't know.
And just tear it to shreds.
And
just get all my frustrations out, and then I never have to think about it
again. That would be
again.
really cathartic. Yeah. I enjoyed, though, as cheesy as it was, as poorly structured as it was, I enjoyed the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
I could watch it, and it felt like Star Wars.
It made me want more of The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Mandalorian Season 3 is going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel.
Thanks for coming by again.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah.
It's fun.
So we may or may not do Lord of the Rings.
Episode by episode.
I think it'd be fun.
Boy, that would be something.
But it'd be a commitment, and we wouldn't have to do. We could probably do 2 episodes.
Yeah, we'll think about it.
Take a break. I do something with someone else, and then we come back to it. We'll see.
If it lives up to how good it could be. We'll see.
But next week,
oh yeah, what you doing next week?
My friend Jake is coming back again. He's done a lot of these episodes. We're doing Face Off. I've never seen it.
Y'all need to just start a run of Nicolas Cage movies.
I think so, because like I have a list.
There's a bunch of bad ones.
I made a Google Doc of like a list, and there's like Ghost Rider's on there, Con Air's on there, Face Off is on there.
Con Air's not bad.
I haven't seen that. So
okay.
I haven't seen Face Off, so I'm excited.
Yeah, you get to. Oh man,
I get to experience Face Off. Like I know what happens, but
Con Air might be bad now that I say that.
Yeah. I heard Nick Cage has a terrible Southern accent, but if you have a suggestion for an episode, listener, I'm talking to you now. You can send an email to secondtakemoviespod@gmail.com, and you can reach us on all the socials at Second Take Movies. Thanks for listening, and I will see you next week with Face Off.